Check it 6 a.m. Good morning. You're watching the first bulletin of the day on TV3 right here on New Day. This bulletin is coming to you live from the news app here at Addis Ababa, and on DSTV is channel 279, and on Facebook is TV3 Ghana. Top of the stories is up. Say no to Galamsey demo enters day 3 today as protesters vow to continue demonstration despite arrest of some members by police. Mortuary Workers Association threatens strike over poor working conditions. Also coming up this morning, main opposition National Democratic Congress NDC to meet civil society organizations, diplomats over what it says are discrepancies in the 2024 Provisional Voters Register. We've got details of these and many more coming up in the next 20 minutes if you spend your time with me. And now let's begin from here. Members of Democracy Hub say they are not perturbed after the police arrested some of their members on their second day of their 3-day protest. The police administration has also reaffirmed its commitment to ensure that the protesters do not block the roads, impeding movement. Here's a report by Joseph Armstrong, Alugbai and Jocelyn Enum, and they've been monitoring the protests and have filed this very report.
The first day of the Stop the Galamsey protests was successful because the demonstrators managed to have their way by blocking this road, preventing the free flow of vehicles. Unfortunately, on the second day, things have not gone well as the protesters have been picked up by the police service. Currently, the MTTD has been brought on location to ensure the free movement of vehicles.
The police are arresting them.
In a tense standoff between Democracy Hub protesters and the Ghana Police Service, some demonstrators were arrested early Sunday morning for allegedly attempting to block major roads in the vicinity of the 37 military hospital runabout.
They did not give me a statement. I have not seen any statement. I have not seen any statement.
According to the police, the arrests was as a result of the protesters' attempt to block roads leading to the 37 runabout.
We are here to maintain security, law and order, and we'll make sure we do that.
After the arrest, the Motor Traffic and Transport Unit was deployed to ensure the flow of traffic. These are the National Formed Police Units. They've been stationed here to ensure this road is not blocked, as was done on the first day of the Stop the Galamsey protests. Anybody that attempts to block this road will be picked up according to the police hierarchy. Hours later, some protesters who had escaped arrest returned to the scene. This time, they stood at one corner, waiting for more support. Despite the arrest, members of Democracy Hub says they are unperturbed and have vowed to continue their demonstration, which seeks to address various national concerns. They told TV3 that although they feel intimidated by the number of police officers, they will not give up.
For us, we are not going to give, we are just here to alert them until they listen to us.
Are you scared that any of you could be picked up? Are you scared?
For what reason? If you are scared, we'll be gone.
But do you think your message has been sent across?
The message has been sent.
The message has been sent?
Yes, that's why they are here, to intimidate us. Are you sure? Because they know a greater number would have showed up. Yes, that one. So what they did was an intimidation tactic.
The police administration continues to keep hundreds of their officers in uniform at the protest sites while keeping some critical roads leading to the Flagstaff House closed to traffic as of 5 p.m. The protesters say this has contributed to the low numbers recorded on the first 2 days of the protest. As the situation remains fluid, protesters and police are locked in a delicate balance, while Democracy Hub members are determined to keep their movement alive. The police have vowed to maintain law and order, setting the stage for what could be a long standoff if no resolutions are reached soon.
You want to kill us?
The protesters say they are, however, not intimidated by the number of police officers that the Ghana Police Service has brought on the streets. For them, they will continue to protest and fight for the rights of Ghanaians. Joseph Armstrong, Gold Alibu, TV3, Accra.
You want to kill us?
Indeed, we are your election command center. Trust us for credible reportage before, during and after the general elections. And now the National Democratic Congress, NDC, is set to hold a meeting with civil society organizations, diplomats and other stakeholders to express its concerns about alleged discrepancies in the Ghana's voters register. The meeting comes in the wake of growing concerns by the party regarding the integrity of the electoral process ahead of the upcoming election. Supporters and sympathizers of the NDC staged a nationwide protest dubbed Enough is Enough demo and presented a petition to the Electoral Commission to address the concerns it raised. Dr. Rashid Musa Tanko Computer is the Deputy Director of Elections and IT for the NDC.
Well, the issue is all about the place saying that we have not presented to them any evidence. We have not given them what we promised giving them. We know that we have given them enough leads. We have given them enough evidence to go into their system, and they've also agreed to that. Yes, actually there are problems with their register, their IT system is compromised. They themselves agree to that, and so I don't see why they are running away from this forensic audit that we are calling for. We just want the civil society to have an appreciation of what we're talking about. It's not that we're just making noise around, but we have evidence. We have credible evidence that warrant that there's the need to have a forensic audit of the register.
Now let's move to the camp of the NPP because its presidential candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has urged Ghanaians to give him a promotion to become the president in the upcoming general elections. Dr. Bawumia was speaking at the Palace of Nyakrum Traditional Council in the Aguna West Municipality of the Central Region, touted his achievement.
Presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, believes he has worked hard as vice president, comparing his achievement over the past 8 years to those of previous vice presidents. He appealed to Ghanaians to vote for him in this year's election.
Vice President,
if you ask me what I did as vice president in office, I will be able to tell you I did.
Zongo Development Fund, Ghana card issuance, the digital address,
but if you ask the former president John Dramani Mahama what he did in office as vice president, he won't be able to tell you anything.
Paramount Chief of the Nyakrum Traditional Council, Okofo Okatachi Nyaku Eku X, called for the creation of a district in Aguna Central to promote development in the area.
Remind the president of the promises he made to us years ago. You were with him and is representing him now.
Well, if you just tuned in, you're watching the morning news on TV3. And let's go on to our earlier story. The Say No to demonstration enters day 3 today. My colleague Armstrong Godalagbe has pitch camped at the venue Say No to Galamsey Amase instead day 3 actually. So let's cross over to my colleague for the very latest updates on this very demonstration. Armstrong, good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning. Armstrong, what can you report this morning about the demo?
Yeah, so this morning, the police are still here at the 37 roundabout area, and road is still not open to traffic. If you are driving from the airport area, you cannot cross over towards the Flagstaff House. And if you are coming from Accra Central, you also cannot move from the Sankara down towards 37 Hospital. The road has been diverted from Sankara down. You have to find your way through either Circle or Kaukudi. That's what it is right now. So this morning, you could see on behalf of the police currently have been briefed as to what to do this morning. And then you could see many more police officers stationed here with their barricades still in position. These vehicles we see coming from this direction are coming from the airport area, but we have to be diverted either through the Bema Cap area or you find your way towards the Kaukudi area. And if you are coming from Kaukudi area and you want to go towards 37 or Flagstaff House area, you also have to head towards the Bema Camp area. So as it stands right now, even though the protesters are not here, the road is still not opened to commuters.
I'm shocked. In your earlier report, you mentioned that the demonstrators said they are not perturbed about the arrest. I want to know, are they more now? Where are they now?
So yesterday they held a press conference at the Du Bois Center, and then they said that they will come, but this time around they would want to go towards the Airwalk area. This morning I've been there. They've not reported yet, but it's early days yet. It's likely that they may come later on in the day. But as it stands right now, I can't see any of the protesters here. All you could see is MTTD officials and also that of the foreign police units that are gathered here. Many more police officers deployed to this place this morning.
For the very latest updates on the Say No to Galamsey demonstration, it's actually a 3-day planned protest, and today is actually the last day, and that was our colleague I'm sure Godalog will bring us the very latest updates on this very demonstration. And trust TV3 to bring you up to speed on this. And let's move away from that. More than 120 world leaders have arrived in New York for the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly. The annual event comes at a time when the UN itself is battling for relevancy while attempting to stem multiple wars around the world. My colleague Sani Abdul Rahman is in New York for the event and has further report.
It's that time of the year when world leaders gather in New York to address the UN General Assembly. Last year, discussions largely centered on conflicts that flared up in Europe and many parts of the world. This year, the situation has only worsened. Some experts see no chance of meaningful discussions towards ending the conflict immediately, but the UN is hopeful of making some progress.
I have one overriding message today. An appeal to member states for a spirit of compromise. Show the world what we can do when we work together.
Global leaders face a tall list of challenges this year: rising food prices, the war in Ukraine, Sudan, Yemen, and now Gaza, which continue to claim tens of thousands of lives. The UN says it will need some crucial reforms in order to help address some of these challenges. But a number of diplomats say the political will to adequately resource the UN in order to fight some of these global challenges is just not there.
Top on the agenda this year for Africa is to advocate for debt reliefs, seek support to help tackle the worsening insurgency in the region, and of course the devastating impact of climate change.
It's important for African leaders to underscore the need for global partnership to counter terrorism. Indeed, the situation in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger is getting out of control, and it appears as if the withdrawal of French and other forces means us washing our hands off these countries. And I must say, it is having serious security ramifications on other countries within.
This year's UN General Assembly will be the last for many heads of state, including US President Joe Biden and Ghana's Akufo-Addo, as they exit office. Such moments have often resulted in explosive rhetorics during the general debates. However, some diplomats have warned this could add up to the already tensed global atmosphere. Sani Abdurrahman, TV3 News, United Nations.
And now, members of the Mortuary Workers Association have served notice of embarking on industrial action starting Thursday, 26th September. The action is necessitated by several pressing demands that the workers say the government has ignored. Richard Kofi Jordan is the General Secretary of the Mortuary Workers Association. Take a listen.
Remember last year, closed December, we threatened similar strike on these very issues. And then we also have issues with the coronavirus bonus that the president promised in 2020, all dating back. And we think that the employer has not been very, very, very serious with issues with mortuary workers. And for that matter, for these reasons, we think that the time has come that for once, with all the threats that we issued, we should implement that right now by closing down all mortuaries. We are going to implement, you give us time. The National Labour Commission last year issued a directive. It has already issued so many directives in terms of this implementation. The last one was November last year, giving them deadline up to 29th of December. And when we are getting to October, almost a year, in February, we wrote a letter reminding the employer, no reply came from any quarter. So we think that they want to see us close mortuaries. They want to see Ghanaians go to hell for them to understand that it is not out of, what we are getting to, we can't complain. We can't come for negotiation. Negotiation has been done. So we expect them to just pay, do the needful, and then workers will not even attempt to go to the strike at all. That is why we have served notice that the law requires. So we are waiting to Wednesday. If nothing is done or payment is not done or whatever we are demanding for is not met, then you should expect that Thursday all mortuaries will.
Well, away from labor, let's delve into education, because the National Union of Ghana Students, NUGS, is demanding that political parties commit to depoliticizing the country's education sector. Sorry. The Students' Union argues that despite the significant investment in the sector, constant politicization negatively affects the quality of education delivered.
It's of the view that when educational issues are not tackled and addressed devoid of partisanship, quality is compromised and students are always the losers. Speaking at the 57th NUGS Delegate Congress, President of the Union, Daniel Opon-Treme, fears the future of the youth will remain bleak if the education sector is not depoliticized.
If you want to distract the clear future of every young person in this country, the only means you could use is education. So if our education is politicized, if you don't have a proper plan for education, trust me, there will not be any future for us as young people, as we say in a popular session that the future belongs to the youth. It will never belong to us if not a clear roadmap when it comes to education.
But a former Minister of Education and Vice Presidential candidate for the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, thinks differently. He rather expects student leaders to push for quality education rather than depoliticization.
I totally disagree saying depoliticization education and upholding integrity. I haven't come across a country, a single country, where education is not politicized. I haven't. And to attempt to do so rather displays a lack of knowledge on what education is about. Really, we should be focusing on quality education, technical and vocational training. And NUGS, student leadership, should position itself to always be at the champion and the beacon of an advocacy for quality education, technical and vocational training in the country.
NUGS is entreating students to also play their individual roles for a better education system and development of the country.
Well, that's how we end the morning news. For more news updates, you'd want to log on to our website, x3news.com. And my colleagues are standing by. It's actually a holiday. Wishing you the very best. Enjoy your morning.
Colgate Herbal is formulated from unique natural herbs to strengthen teeth and keep gums healthy. Try Colgate Herbal, scientifically proven for strong teeth and healthy gums. This advert is FDA approved.
This October, come and encounter Jesus in a way you've never experienced before. The Maker's House Chapel International presents Experience Conference 2024 under the theme Jesus. From 6th to 13th October, join us for a week of divine connection and spiritual renewal. Be transformed by powerful ministrations from anointed men of God, Pastor Jonathan Miller, Reverend Eastwood Anaba, Dr. Dion Ibayas, and your host, Dr. Michael Brady Nyamiche. The venue is the Destiny Arena